Shoud had a good plan for himself. Before Xena arrived, he took a bath to relieve fatigue. When Xena arrived, he could go straight to the topic with her. It is rare to have such a chance to get rid of the yellow-face woman at home, and naturally take the opportunity to stay with Xena for a few days. Putting off the hot water, Shoud took off his clothes and climbed into the bathtub, soaking his slightly fat body in the hot water. Feeling happy in his heart, he didn't know that he was only 20 minutes away from hell on earth. At this moment, Charlie and Ruoli had quietly touched into the Orus Hill International Hotel. Needless to say, Charlie's skills. As for Ruoli, she was originally a master of internal boxing carefully cultivated by the He family, and she has received a lot of professional training for bodyguards and killers, and her strength in this area is also very impressive. More importantly, during this period of time, Ruoli's veins were completely opened up with the help of Charlie, and the overall strength has improved a lot, so it is not a problem to sneak into the Orus Hill International Hotel with Charlie. Before coming, Isaac had investigated the location of Shoud and Steve's rooms in Orus Hill International Hotel. Shoud directly undertook the entire administrative floor, so his bodyguards, as well as the masters of the Su family, were mostly arranged in the rooms near the elevator entrance and staircase entrance. In their view, the entrance of the stairs and the elevator is the throat of the entire executive floor, and the executive floor is on the 20th floor, the highest floor of the hotel, so as long as they guard the stairs and elevator, they can ensure that Shoud is safe. However, they didn't expect that Charlie and Ruoli would choose to take a helicopter and break through their defense directly from the top. However, the roar of the helicopter was very loud. Even if the helicopter was at a height of several hundred meters, from the ground it could be heard clearly, and it was even deafening. Therefore, Charlie specially asked Isaac to arrange a fireworks show to cover. It was 11:30 at night. On the river opposite the International Hotel, huge fireworks suddenly set off. The fireworks were set off on a boat on the river surface. The huge firework pellets soared into the sky, bursting at a height of more than 100 meters above the river surface, and for a while, the entire river surface became extremely lively. The fireworks exploded one after another, and the sound kept resounding on both sides of the river. For a while, many people were awakened from their dreams, and many people who were not asleep rushed to the bedside to watch with excitement. No one knows why it is so late, and there are people setting off fireworks on the river. However, Orus Hill itself is a city full of pyrotechnic and romantic atmosphere, and people often set off fireworks to confess love. No one is surprised. The fireworks continue to set off, bringing the entire river surface and the two sides of the bank to a colorful backdrop. The riverside side of Orus Hill International Hotel was also illuminated like daylight. However, because this side is too bright, the other side naturally appears darker. At this moment, a helicopter in the sky quickly flew towards the roof of Orus Hill International Hotel. The helicopter stays at an altitude of 150 meters, although it is impossible to eliminate the roaring noise during flight, but because the sound of the firework explosion is stronger, people cannot detect the presence of the helicopter at all. At this moment, inside the helicopter, Charlie and Ruoli sat side by side, and Isaac and two of his men sat opposite. When approaching the hotel, Isaac said with some worry, "Master, as far as I know, there are at least 20 or 30 masters around Shoud, not including the bodyguards he hired from the local security company. You and Miss Su are only 2 people, wouldn't it be too dangerous? How about I transfer some more people over?" Charlie waved his hand and said indifferently, "No, only a few people can touch it in and withdraw quietly. If there are too many people, wouldn't it be the only way to come with a sword and a gun?" Isaac was a little apprehensive and said, "But young master, I don't know what the strength is. In case of danger, it will be difficult for us to support you effectively." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't worry about this. When you get to the top of the hotel, the helicopter doesn't need to go down. If Ruoli and I go down by cable, then you will hover in the sky and wait for about 10 minutes. Shout and Steve will be taken to the balcony. When the time comes, you can adjust the ropes and pull us up. Then we will directly go to kennel. Isaac saw that Charlie had arranged everything, no longer said anything, and said firmly, "Okay, master, we are waiting for you above the hotel." Charlie said to Ruoli again at this time, "Ruoli, you will be responsible for Steve Hogwarts later," and Shout, "I will solve it." Ruoli nodded slightly, and said respectfully, "Okay, master." Charlie said, "Remember, try not to disturb other people. Let's go in and out quickly, and try to see that Shout and that Steve have evaporated from the world, and they can't find any clues." "It is good." 1 minute later. The plane hovered over the roof of the hotel. Isaac's men immediately put down 2 extremely strong nylon ropes from both sides of the helicopter. After Charlie and Ruoli exchanged glances, each grabbed a rope and quickly slid directly from the sides of the helicopter. In the blink of an eye, the 2 quietly landed on the roof of the hotel. Afterwards, the 2 quietly touched the balcony of Shout and Steve's room from the outside of the hotel. At this time, Steve didn't have any interest in the fireworks outside. He was lying in bed, trying to fall asleep a little anxiously, but because of the jet lag, he was almost not sleepy. In desperation, he had to decide to drink some wine to help him fall asleep. So he stood up and prepared to take a bottle of whiskey from the wine cabinet in the hotel room. At this moment, the sound of fireworks exploding again sounded outside, and he cursed a little irritably, "I don't know which damn bastard it is. Fireworks are set off at this time." While muttering, he suddenly felt that someone patted his shoulder. At this moment, Steve was so scared that his hair stood up. There is only one person in the room, why would someone slap his shoulder? He subconsciously turned his head to look, and a charming Chinese woman looked at him with a smile. This woman is Ruoli. Steve immediately realized that the other party was not good, panicked, and was about to call for help. He felt that his neck was suddenly hit hard, and he fainted. At this time, Charlie also touched into Shout's presidential suite. At this time, Shout had just finished soaking in the bath, wrapped in a bathrobe and dangling cigar. While walking out of the bathroom, holding his mobile phone, he sent a voice WeChat message to Xena. "Baby, how long will it take to arrive?" The other party quickly replied, and the voice said in an extremely charming voice, "Dear, wait for me for another 10 minutes. I have already entered the city and will be there soon." Shout smiled obscenely, "Let the driver drive faster. If you don't arrive within 10 minutes, I'll see him later, and I am going to beat you." After speaking, he loosened his finger and the voice was sent. At this moment, he suddenly heard a man laugh and say, "Mr. Su, I see that beautiful woman's ass, you can't beat it."